Okay, so in this video and in the next few to follow, I'm going to focus on a very specific project that I am doing with my students, but I thought what others might find enjoyable as well. We are creating Mintbox miniatures using Illustrator as our design platform and a laser cutter, a Glowforge in this case, to create the medium out of wood. And so what I'm going to show you first off is just sort of the completed Mintbox miniature landscape. You can see that I used basically a mint box with the front top cut out. The lid is actually still there. The lid opens, so you can actually open it up and look inside. And you'll notice I have some circular ones as well. And it starts with creating some kind of image that's meaningful for whatever you want to do. Could be a city landscape, mountain ranges. I started with things that were very basic for me to think about, desert scene, ocean scene, things like that. And then as friends and relatives started to see these boxes, they had put in some special requests. And so I started to create some of specific locations across the world, as well as just, could be places that were memorable for people who I was making them for, etc. In addition to cutting the wood, I also started to paint, just to, one, explore my options for bettering my painting skills, but two, to give a little bit more vibrancy to the creations that were made. And so as I'm going through here, one of the things that I want you to make note of is that all of the boxes have, in addition to the wood designs, have lights inside them. And I started with creating circuits with like an LED light, a battery, and a switch. And then I eventually moved over to just buying those inexpensive fairy lights that you might hang up in a room or put in a jar. They're really easy to use and inexpensive and bright. And so I started going with those, and they come in different colors. You can get multi-packs for very, very inexpensively. So these are the different mint boxes, and this year my students are going through a course in Illustrator, and they're going to be making their own based on themes that they have chosen for themselves. I think we're rounding up towards the end of this slideshow here. So you can kind of see how the projects have evolved over time. I just started to implement more and more color. Well, it all starts with getting inspired by going out to the web and seeing what's out there, what other people have done in terms of graphic design for different landscapes, or even if it's just getting inspired by a particular cartoon character or superhero or whatever it is that might drive you to create something that you want. So I started with some of these, and I also I sketched out drawings to my liking. And part of the earlier video series, 1, 2, and 3, we looked at tracing templates to understand certain tools in Illustrator. And so bringing in a hand drawing is another great way to be able to trace over your own drawing. In this case, I started to create some of these components. I'll show you here. These are the different pieces in the scene that eventually get cut. And notice that I used color for them just as I'm doing my assembly work. But in reality, when they get cut out, they actually have to be done in 2-color. And that's just because, they could be more than 2-color, but let's see if I can have this make sense. The outer color, the red in this case, is what the laser cutter is being asked to cut through the wood, so to cut out from the piece of wood. And the black, in this case, it's asked to engrave or score into the wood, so it's not cutting through the wood. And so even though I've created this multicolor option here, ultimately for outputting to the laser cutter, it's going to be this single color outline and then a single color engrave. All right, so over the course of the next few videos, we're going to use a hand drawing of a new project, and we will take the curvature tool that we learned in previous videos and create these outlines and these engraved shapes inside that sketched drawing. Okay, I'm looking forward to going through these next few videos with you.